Hi, my name is Vesa Paananen. I work here at the University of Eastern Finland. On this video, I will show you some tools to make your teaching available. So, how you can turn yourself online, what kind of programs you can use when making your first online lecture. And this video can be quite useful when you don't have much support from the administration. So you have to make your online course or online model from scratch, and it can't cost anything. Well, first of all, there are some books that I'm recommending. So some books that are giving you quite nice examples that, okay, what kind of online courses other people have in this universe. And first in the list is this Davidson New Education. It gives you quite nice information that, okay, what happens during the last 150 years in the modern universities, and what kind of challenges we have nowadays when having this higher education. Then a practical guide, Differentiated Flipped Classroom. It's very basic level to-do list, okay, do this and this and this. So you can practically design a course on any school level by using Flipped Classroom with this book. Then we have Miller Teaching Online. It's more on the university level courses. It's very nice examples of how to on administration, or how on the course planning, etc., on what to do, and gives you quite nice information that, okay, actually online learning and online courses can be something else also than just the screencasts. Then we have Miller Minds Online. It's quite a nice book also, and it's written that, like, it's more on the psychology. So what happens in student mind when they're learning? Are they having different kind of ways to learn, and what different kinds of process in the mind when they are online or on site? Then there is Talbot Flipped Learning, so with these turtles in the cover. It's quite nice. It's on the university level course designed, a practical guide, giving you examples that, okay, these kind of things you can do in the classroom, these kind of things you can do with your lectures that are online. And then Ubel Going Online. That's also quite a nice book, and it's on perspectives of digital learning. And last but not least, if you are very interested on what actually happens there between the teacher and the students, there's also teacher-student interaction in online learning environments. This is a large book, pricey, but it's more difficult than these others, because it's more on the science behind this interaction, and how we what kind of things we have to consider when we have students with different backgrounds in the course, etc. But it's quite good book also. And then there is on the last on the list, it's not a book, it's a podcast, Teaching in Higher Ed. So if you are interested in what happens there in the development of higher education teaching, especially in US, but also elsewhere, so it's very nice podcast. A new 1 hour program comes every Thursday, and it's quite nice to listen it while jogging, etc. So what you should know when turning online. So there are certain things that we had to have, otherwise it's most completely impossible to make any online activity. First of all, we have technological limitations. You need to have a reliable computer. So if the computer is crashing all the time, making online videos, it's a pain in the ass. Or do you have high-speed internet access? Because if we don't have a good internet access, it can be quite difficult also to make it. But nowadays, that's not a big problem because we have wireless internet that is quite high speed, and there's also usually no problem in any institute. And myself, I have made some online lectures in the cafeterias, etc. And do you have access to learning management system or other tools that are supporting online instructions? Well, in our institute, we are using Moodle, which is not perfect for any purpose, but it's decent that, okay, well, I can embed some videos, or I can link to YouTube, etc. And do you have some access to technologies that will support many different pedagogical approaches? Well, quite often it's very difficult to find a program or technology that can be useful or perfect for all the purposes. But if you just have a link to the different programs, that's usually enough. Then the support. So do you have your university support so they can determine some promotion or tenure when you are using your time on online education? This is the limitation that I've been saying for several of my colleagues that are in tenure track system. So, okay, their promotion depends directly on how many papers they can have in high impact factor journals. So they are not getting any points when they are using time for online learning. So in that case, they had to do some other things on their teaching. And do you have training opportunities available? Well, in our institute, we have this flipped classroom project with 150 teachers, and there's a training for the teachers, so it's very much easier to start flipping when there is this training available. And is the institute supporting this development by releasing time or some financial compensation? Well, in our cases, why we have 150 teachers, it's because the university says that, okay, each of them will get 2 months without any other teaching duties, so they can concentrate on this flipping. And in some other institutes, I have read that the kids actually, they are, okay, you are making an online, so they will give you 1,000 euros or something like that. And do you have support from colleagues who could answer these questions? And this is a very important thing. In our flipped classroom project, these peers and colleagues and other teachers and these small-scale contacts have been very important, at least in my case. So it's very good to have a chat with other teachers that are flipping their courses, and it doesn't matter that they are in completely in different field. So we can have a cup of coffee and discuss, okay, there's this problem with the programs, etc. And then the disposition. So what do you like to do? Do you like learning new technologies? Because if we are using computers and programs, and if we don't like computers, it's quite difficult to make these. And do you have self-discipline to spend hours on the computers? Because if we are making learning affecting on the learning management system or making videos, I can spend a whole day in the front of computer making these videos, etc. And are you happy spending time communication online? So when I'm not seeing the students at all, but I'm chatting, I can see that they are learning something, although I'm not seeing the students. And do you believe that this online learning can be at least as good? So if you are not believing on it, don't start online learning at all. And also, are you comfortable with the change? Because if you are not comfortable with the change at all, it's maybe better to stuck in the old school lecturing, because that's what all earlier generations, at least during the last 100 years, have been doing. And then the skills, nothing special, but some things that we should consider. Have you good organizing skills? And are you good at time management? When we are not having that, okay, I will have this course, I will have a lecture on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday from 10 to noon. So I need to have some kind of organizing skills that, okay, I have a deadline on Friday, there should be 5 hours of online videos available and also quizzes available, and then the students are giving some projects in the internet. I had to, and if they are not doing it, I will have to give them some recommendations and feedbacks, etc. And I should do it quite fast. So if they're asking something, I had to have a quite frequent responses and giving the quick answers. So I can try to engage the students with the small scale goals on the course, so they are not dropping out. And are you convey with your thoughts in writing? So if the writing and expressing yourself in writing, it's difficult, then it's of course might be difficult to express yourself in all kind of online learning. And do you understand the basic computer terminology? I'm not saying that you had to be specialized on computers, but when having technical problems, when I've been writing to our ICT support, sometimes I have difficulties to understand their responses because I don't know the terms. So it can be easier that, okay, we have this kind of servers and firewalls, etc. And do you have technical skills you need to teach online? Well, that's nothing special, neither. So, okay, you need to be able to use PowerPoint at least. Or, well, even that's not, you can even manage without that. And then the preparation. Have you thought online previously? Yes, okay, it's no problem. And have you participated in any faculty development activities for online teaching? Okay, that's also good. But even if the faculty has not done anything, you can always check online courses available there. So these MOOCs, so what kind of courses they have there. And can you create a course site that is acceptable in layout and students with disabilities? Well, in my case, no, but I don't care. It's in Moodle. I'm using the Moodle Outlook. It doesn't look good, but I can manage with that. So I'm not taking care of this. But if you would have a web page for the course, then I would need to think that, okay, what kind of fonts I'm using, what kind of colors can I can use it, etc. And do you know about different instructional strategies you can teach online? And do you know how to moderate online interaction? So what kind of things we can do to deliver the information? And when we have, for example, chat forum, how we can keep it chatting. So there are certain steps we should do just before turning online, but nothing very difficult. And then, is online expensive? No, it's not. These are examples that have not cost for our university a single cent. On the left, I've been drawing animations and and pictures by using pen and paper, a camera, a light. Just because I'm so bored on okay, not having I don't want to have this textbook picture. I can draw it myself, and I don't want to use a very difficult computer program for the drawing. I can use a pen, and then I'm using a camera. It's not directly connected to computer because it's in that camera it was impossible. But also because I rather do it offline and then insert that video, maybe edit some parts of it away, and then I can add it in my presentation. And that's very important for me because I'm very slow and also in drawing, and also my drawings are very horrible. So it's I can do remake it because I'm doing it on offline. Then in center there is my laptop, old laptop that has, okay, on the left and right you can see the silver line. It's a duct tape, so preventing that it's not in small pieces. And still the monitor is broken, so I'm using an old monitor that I found in the corridor. And I'm still using this old computer. It's 10-year-old. I've been doing all my podcast programs with this, and also I'm doing all my video editing with it, because it has certain old programs that I'm familiar with, so I can do it faster. And then on right, here's me making a podcast with a microphone, which I bought 20 years ago for other purpose. So that's why these things have not cost a single cent for the university. And even when I started to do these podcasts 3.5 years ago, actually the microphone was not connected to that old computer at all. It was connected to tape recorder, a mini disc, DCC player. So these 20 or 30 or 40-year-old techniques just to record the audio, and then afterwards I can then digitize it with the computer and put it available. So now the tools, what we can do when we want to have this interaction. First of all, we can have interactivity in the lecture with a text wall or text chat. So it's quite often that, okay, we can have some open questions like, okay, what are the expectations on this course, etc. And if we have 150 students, it's very difficult to get more than 2 or 3 of them raising their hands and giving them comments. So we can have some text chat or text wall. So in that case, I can show the students that, okay, these are the comments that you are giving. And quite often, they are very reasonable comments that they are giving. And there are some free programs that we can use for this. Or then we can use also some tools to make it timetables, like Doodle. That, okay, I can send the link to Doodle for all the students and say that, okay, when we are going to have the meeting. But then we also can have these quick quizzes or votes during the courses. We have Kahoot and Socrative that are both free of charge, at least in small scale. So we can have this peer instruction system. So I'm giving 15-minute lecture, and then we will have a 5-minute for voting and discussion and re-voting. Or then we can have actually some games in the several quizzes with the points. So it's several tools that we can use it. But then there's also ping balls from Microsoft, and then some that are non-free. We are using in our institute, we are using Presemo. It's very fast for text-based quizzes. So having, for example, I can have a text wall first and asking that, okay, what are the most probable or most difficult parts in this course or on this week content, and then just cut and paste and have a very fast text-based vote that, okay, what are your expectations on these? Or then some of my colleagues, they are using learning catalytics, which is pretty expensive. But the good point is that, okay, and they can insert some chemical structures and pictures in these votes, because it's difficult to it might be difficult to get the idea of the chemical structure by just words. Then screencasts. I think Screencast-O-Matic is the most popular because it's free of charge. You can save all the screen and microphone even without logging on the server. And so in that case, it will save it on your own computer. But if you use this free of charge username and password, then you can save it also in their web page. But then if you are making it for free of charge, max duration is 15 minutes. And it's been used, for example, in our town, in Karelian University of Applied Science, when they have had some online course together with other universities. And they didn't have any money for these programs. Okay, they are using this free one. Then there's Cam Studio that some of my colleagues are also using. So it's a free downloadable program. It saves, and it doesn't have this 15-minute limitation. But and okay, that's good. And then some of my colleagues also use PowerPoint Record Slideshow. So you don't need any computer program beside the PowerPoint to make your screencast. And some of my colleagues then have been saying that actually the problem is that it works only when you are using the PowerPoint slides, and then when you have recorded it, and then it starts to turn it on MP4, MP3, then the problem is that it will take a lot of time. And then in our university, I've been using several hundred times now this Planet eStream. It's good thing is that it saves everything that I show in the computer, but also that is when we are having a server in our university, it can be very easily embedded in our learning management system. So there is actually a button that, okay, if I press this green button, it will show me immediately that, okay, these are the list of the videos I've been making, and then I can just click it. Then other tools that can be used, especially when you don't have any support from the university. First of all, YouTube. We can actually make a completely online course, but just by adding lectures in YouTube. Simple place for all audiovisual media, and we can actually make the content also hidden. So they had to know the code so they can find it. So it's very simple to make a course there. Then what I'm using SoundCloud for audio file delivery. It free of charge in small scale. I'm now paying few euros every month because I'm having a little bit more space there, and it's very easy to link with podcast players like iTunes, etc. Because now you don't there's just serves a serving place, so the students can listen these audio files on their mobile devices wherever they are. And then I'm using Slack for this chat forum because it's a controllable pseudo-anonymous free discussion forum. So I can control that who has access to it. and it's good that okay because it's used by commercial companies or large research teams, though it's not working in completely different way on the user log files than, for example, Facebook. So it's not selling it anywhere. And but I've been doing that. Okay, anyone who has the email address from our institute can join automatically on our in our Slack channels. But then if student want to have a Gmail address or whatever, he or she can ask me. I can add it. And it's pseudo-anonymous, so some are using their real names, some are using their acronym, but then there's a way to know that, okay, who is this person? Oh, then can have completely acronyms in everywhere. And then also I'm using Lab Archive for actually quite much on saving my lab notes, but also it can be used on sharing lab results, etc. So even that can be used in courses. And then, of course, we can have some technical questions. The quality of the picture. On the left is a picture of me made with the camera of my computer, and then on right at the same time camera of just regular camera. And okay, one is red and one is not. And so, but does it matter? When we are making a lectures, does it matter that okay, it should always had to be very high definitive output? Or then in voice, does it matter that okay, is it a very pricey microphone, or was it or microphone of our computer, or microphone of the camera, etc. And usually in these microphones, I've been seeing in my cases that okay, when I'm listening with headphones, I can immediately say that okay, this is recorded with that or that. But when I'm listening them with a computer without any headphones or high quality speakers, I can't hear the difference. So in that case, it doesn't so much matter. Thank you.